SMR Podcast Network. You should be listening.
Reppin' and hooligan flexin'. ACK reppin' and hooligan flexin'. You a mark, I'm a shark, flow sharper than a dart. Every time I'm up the bat, it's out the park. You're all bark, no bite. Why you trying to take my life? Cause I'm seeing all this.
We want to thank Hooligan Zoo Crew for their hit single Flex Talk off their debut album From the Outside Looking In. Check out their full album, available now on Amazon, Spotify, and iTunes.com.
And I'm a winner, yeah. You's a loser, yeah. And a hater, yeah. Who's who be flexing, giving out rap lessons, not the ones to be tested. ACK reppin' and hooligan flexing. ACK reppin'.
What's going on, everybody? Smart Mark Radio listeners, RWT family, Working Computer, Paul Morales, Moni Lynn. We're all here. This is the mashup episode. Retro Rewind meets the Wednesday Night Wars. Yeah, I'm not going to say what the fuck just happened, but whatever it happened, it just happened, and we're going to simplify the crap out of this show. Paul, what's going down?
What is good, my brother? We are on this road to the Wednesday Night War beginning, and let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do that, because we just spent all kinds of time, and it got lost in the atmos, and it is what it is. Anyway, 2 hours of NXT, 1 hour USA, 1 hour on the WWE Network. Started out with Dominic Dijakovic taking on Keith Lee in what was probably the best NXT match on USA so far. In my opinion, at least, this was very, very, very good. These men went out there, they killed each other, two giant men. One guy's 6'2", 320, another guy's 6'7", 270. Very big men. You got leapfrog ability out of Keith Lee. You got, there was this big choke slam by Dijakovic on Keith Lee on the side of the apron. Big Bang Extravaganza for the win. Keith Lee looks strong. They're 1-1 with a tie. Number 3 has to happen, right?
Yeah, eventually they're going to get up to number 3, and this will probably be the... I'm going to kind of say that this is going to be along the lines of what Sheamus and Cesaro went through, and I don't really want to say that, but because I believe these two have been a tag team before, so you're talking about almost 600 pounds of mass in the ring. I mean, these guys were jumping around like cruiserweights and, kicking the shit out of each other, but, hopefully in the next few weeks, I guess we'll see the end of this trilogy, actually.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't mind seeing them as a tag team. You're right. They were tag team partners before, formerly known as the Monstars, because they're monsters. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, saying them all. There was a very awesome Avalanche Canadian Destroyer from Dijakovic onto Lee. Go check this fucking match out, dude. If you guys only see one match from this NXT show, Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee are the two. It's the one match to go see. We get the captain of Team Kick, Dakota Kai, taking on Tainara Conti. Conti out there actually doing some judo. Kai winning with the GTK, the go to kick. She was over with the crowd, made a good comeback. Match was fine. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, we got a returning Dakota Kai. She had her ACL tear early last year. And, it was good to see her back in the ring. She looked, you could tell the little bit of ring rust, from being away and rehabbing. But other than that, I'm hoping to see more of Tainara Conti. She is a beautiful woman. If you guys go follow her on IG, I mean, her Reina Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley are all three like great friends, and they all just they're all pretty funny together. You ought to go follow all three of those women.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. They're all actually relatively good in the ring as well, so only time will tell as it goes. I agree, Conti has the look. She definitely has the skill set, and with time, she'll get better. So let's see how that goes.
And girl got some booty, too, so I can give her that one.
I will agree with that one. She does.
Yeah, she got some booty.
We'll get into the main event on the USA.
It's not your beauty, it's your booty.
Oh, yeah, it's not your beauty. It's your
I'm
booty.
just kidding.
Anyway.
She got both.
She does have both. Matt Riddle, Killian Dane, number 1 contender, street fight. This match, like I did not mention last week, this match was breaking up. It was broken up to then not be another street fight, but it was set to be continued as it was on this show, and the winner gets a shot at Adam Cole. Way too much stuff to go into for this match. Just know that they killed each other with kendo sticks, chairs, brawled all over the place. There was a bad spot where they were actually fighting in the stands. There was a bleacher. It just looked bad compared to how AEW is going to be looking by next week. But I guess if you cut that now, it's not going to hurt nobody. We did get a beautiful Alabama slam. There was a couple planchas. Matt Riddle ends up winning with the final flash with the chair and then the Fujiwara armbar. I'm happy to see him use it. He needs to use more submissions as a MMA submissions expert. But, it's NXT. I guess they got to simplify it for something. What'd you get out of this Haas match?
Man, I believe I mentioned once before, I wish these two would have taken it more outside of the arena, had more of an actual street fight instead of just it all staying in the arena. So I guess on one hand, I guess I wanted one way. On the other hand, I guess I'm okay with what happened. I thought it was a really, really good match. Even as much as they beat the hell out of each other, I really think that power bomb and then the chair shot was badass. I have to admit, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Adam Cole runs out to confront Matt Riddle. Cole got in Riddle's face. He insulted him. Riddle answers back, going after him, taking him down. Fujiwara armbar. Undisputed Era makes the save. Adam Cole's yelling, "Oh, he broke my fucking wrist," blah, 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 blah. We now go to the WWE Network. Cole and Undisputed Era still sitting in the ring, licking their wounds. And then we get Rhea Ripley and Kaden Carter, formerly Lacey Lane, with the blonde dread. She's really hard to deny. And this match was fine. Rhea Ripley went out there. She beat the crap out of this poor girl, but Carter did get in a little bit of offense. We see the Riptide, which is a pump handle powerbomb, and it was good. It was all right. I mean, it could have been way worse. We have already seen worse women's matches on NXT on USA.
Yeah, but Kaden Carter, was in the Mae Young Classic last year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I just thought it was a really good match. I didn't think it was possibly the best that they could have, but given what they had, Beth Phoenix said, Rhea Ripley was hard hitting and had a nasty style. This was probably the best match of the second hour. Maybe not. I don't know. I think the Grimes and Mendoza match was probably just a hair bit better.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
It was really good for both of them. I thought it was really good. I did. I know people are probably going to get at me and probably say, "Man, why you keep saying that they're good?" Because they're good.
Because
what else do you want me to say?
It was all right. It wasn't bad. Let's go with that. If you really want to bust my chops, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch took on Ever Rise, which is the team of Chase Parker and Matt Martell. Matt Martell is the famous son of whom, Mr. Paul?
Mr. Rick Martell.
There you go.
Of course.
That's right. The model Rick Martell. A good worker back in his day. So, I mean, you were expecting something great, right? It's Oney Lorcan, it's Danny Burch, it's fucking Rick Martell's son, right? Well, we got a whole lot of...
but we got a whole lot of...
arm bars.
Arm bars.
That took like 7 minutes each.
And it took like a whole lot of time.
This match dragged, and it dragged a lot, and we expected to see more. I know I expected to see more, especially at Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Didn't get a whole lot. They win with a double team DDT. And it is what it is. This is where the show slowly just fell right off the cliff. Like, this was not the NXT you expect to see live on USA in the second hour. This is what they're going to give you. We have a problem.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of dragging for Burch and Lorcan is that they're not getting, I mean, they had title shots. I got that, but they have yet to grab that title. So them being a tag team is just like them being there. That's it. That's all they are. They're just there, for, people to use as like a stepping stone to get up. And I like these two. I like these two a lot and I really, really, really wish they would be able to get the straps on them so soon.
Well, only time will tell. It's starting to be like good workers are going to be, rewarded with title shots and titles and all that jazz. So we'll see as time goes on. Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo were in the crowd. We do get Cameron Grimes and Raul Mendoza. This match was not that bad. It was actually rather good. Except for the fact that you could tell it was meant to be stretched out to fill time. We did get a couple of arm bars that lasted a little too long, especially for somebody like Cameron Grimes. Raul Mendoza with the the springboard side head takedown. It was fucking great. I've never seen that move in my life. I just said it, and my son was so flabbergasted at how it looked. He just shouted just right now. But I mean,
I heard him. He sounded excited too.
Exactly. See, we were all jazzed for this one. But I mean, this one was relatively good. It belonged in the Cruiserweight Classic if you really want to get that technical. We had the double foot stomp for the win for Cameron Grimes. He's looking strong, and Mendoza not looking weak. So it's all good.
Actually, you know what? What was funny is that I'll go back to last week with Pete Dunne and Arturo Rua.
Love that
Actually,
match.
I oh my god, I love that match. This is what I compare it to because I think that each of them got to show what they are, and then of course, Rua, who has that MMA background, he's really, really good. And
First off, hold on. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you go on your gimmick real quick, but I love the way they talk about Arturo Rua. Like, this guy, he's a capoeira expert. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert. He's a this expert. He's a that expert. I'm like, why isn't this guy making millions of dollars in the UFC? But whatever.
I think I don't think he made it to the UFC. I really don't know. I think he was in Bellator, and I believe he was in some other one that was also, I guess, on Spike TV. I forgot what other one that was on there, but I think maybe he was in UFC for just a little while. But dude, this guy is just cool, and I really hope I really hope they do something with him and Raul Mendoza, because you could tell how seasoned he is in that ring.
Yeah, no, they're both great. Let's just put it like that. They're both very, very good. And with time, they'll only get better. So
and I remember Cameron Grimes being the former Trevor Lee, of PWG. So and I know that dude can rock in that ring. So I'm just glad that I like this match. This was probably my favorite match of the second hour. So
I can agree with that. It definitely was mine. But the main event was the one that everybody was so anxious for. Kushida's got to pick two guys to go up against Imperial. Martel Bartel, Fabian Eichner, Alexander Wolf. Emir making the comment that he feels Alexander Wolf doesn't fit with Fabian Eichner and Martel Bartel because, they're strapping, good-looking young men with nice physiques, and in comes Alexander Wolf, and he looks like a monster.
And blah, 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 blah.
I think they work great because, believe it or not, Alexander Wolf and his in-ring style is very similar to everyone in Imperium. Very ring-based. He wants it. I think
he's very similar to that of Walter. I really do.
I can agree with that.
I really think he's very, very much that hard-hitting style. So him fitting in there just seems perfect to me.
I can agree with that. We get Kushida and his tag team partners. Like I had stated before our fucking recording went haywire. Big fan of F4W, Figure 4 Daily, all those guys over there in Wrestling Observer. Brian Alvarez mentioned how he thinks Kushida, he thought like Goto and Ibushi or fucking Goto and fucking Toriano, who knows, who goes out there, right, to be his tag team partners. Instead, we get probably like the two guys nobody in the fucking world ever thought of, and that's Tyler Breeze, Fandango, the Fashion Police. And
I say, you know what, these two need a gimmick change. I like them, but these two need to get away from that Fashion Police.
Yeah, they got to get serious.
I mean, they ran it into the ground, and once Fandango actually got injured, it kind of like fizzled out, and then they were doing meaningless skits on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And it just kind of dragged. And I mentioned this in the recording before this. I really wish it. To me, it would have been perfect to have Birch and Larkin be his tag team partners. And if they were gonna do anything with Breezango, and I wish they would have gave him a change. I really wish they would have given him something different for this one. And unfortunately, they're coming out and they get a little pop, and it's like, all right. Tyler Breeze himself got a bigger pop when he came out to wrestle a couple of weeks earlier.
That's true. I will admit Fandango looked fantastic in this match, working his ass off, looked great. Kushida looked pretty good. Tyler Breeze just got beat on. It was what it was. It was a all right match. Fandango is the one that gets the hot tag. Kushida gets a little bit of the heat towards the end. They're fighting. He gets a back handspring that gets countered. He ends up doing an O'Connor roll with a bridging cradle for the win. So he's not using the hoverboard lock or anything like that. But it is what it is. As Kushida's celebrating on top, of course, big ass Walter lays him out, and Imperial poses over the fallen Kushida as the show closes. We understand that this is only like a quick 15-minute little recap of just the NXT show. Understand the show gets big next week. We will officially be doing a straight solo show. Mo and the Den Man present the Wednesday Night Wars. That's going to start. We're hoping for Friday night or Friday releases, but also expect Saturday. And worst case scenario, you'll get a 2-show Monday. But just know 2 shows are coming. And for those of you who haven't already heard the great news, we're now on Spotify. We're legitimately going to be anywhere you can get your podcasts. We're in the process of working with iTunes podcasts and Slacker Radio as well. So give us some time. We're going to legit be everywhere. And thanks. And So
when do I start getting paid, man?
When do you start getting paid? That's fantastic. When I start getting paid,
you start getting paid. Oh, look at all of a sudden.
We all start getting paid.
Look at Moni is over there, and she's just waiting. She's just like, I need my money.
We need the money. You promised us a paycheck. I didn't promise nobody nothing.
Hey, wait a second. You were
like get that paycheck.
Oh yeah, she ain't talking till she gets that paycheck. You know what? That's it. We ain't doing the show no more because we ain't getting no money. So all of a sudden, oh wait, no, take that back, because then that means we have to do the show in order to get money.
Yep.
That's the thing though, is that we have to get Oh, never mind. No, I guess
you just caught yourself in the conundrum.
Never mind. I just fucked myself up. Look, that means we got to do the show in order to get paid.
Exactly. So we are going to be doing the show more so than ever. But before we get into the retro part of this, you and I, Paul, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, but you expressed that you loved the Arturo Ruas versus Pete Dunne match last week, as did I. What else did you take away from last week's NXT that was a positive that can help them as they head to 2 hours full time on USA?
Where to begin? Okay. So with everything I had wrote down last week, let me try and simplify this as best as possible. I think the Fatal 4-Way that they had was pretty much off the hook. Every woman that was in that match has legitly had an opportunity at the NXT Women's title. I'm glad Candice LeRae is getting her shine. Grimes and that was a real quick match,
but it was great for 8 seconds.
And it was great for 8 seconds, and I thought it was perfectly cool. And you know what? One weird thing that I found out, and I did not know about Trevor Lee, is that Matt and Jeff Hardy were actually his trainers.
No.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I didn't know. And I guess him being from Cameron, North Carolina, guess what? He just kind of became associated with them. I thought the Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong was pretty cool. I thought it was really, really good. I didn't think it was kind of over the top. It wasn't, and I think this is kind of setting up more for a War Games thing because of everybody that came out. So I kind of think that it'll go that route with quite possibly with the Undisputed Era. Pete Dunne. I love Pete Dunne. Can I say that one more time? I love
Pete Dunne's great.
Dunne.
He's great.
The Bruiserweight, the Cambridge Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. He is awesome. Awesome. Longest running champion in all of WWE in over 600 days.
Yeah, the longest reigning champion of the modern era.
Yeah, and literally held that title and he defended it like nobody's business. That was like one of those like Hulk Hogan reigns, But at least, but unlike Hulk Hogan, Pete Dunne can wrestle.
Very true.
So I thought that as much as that match kind of went a little longer, I kind of wish it was maybe a few minutes shorter, but they each freaking beat the hell out of each other. I like the concept that what they're going to go through. They're going to end eventually get up. I guess okay. Let me take this back real quick. In my mind, this whole Wednesday Night War is not going to be nothing like the Monday Night War.
Yeah.
In the sense that WCW was an established company. AEW is not.
Yep.
They're only established by. They have a roster, yes.
They're only established via association.
Yeah, and the fact that a lot of the wrestlers that are on there, about 80% of them, everybody knows. The other parts, unless you follow a lot of the indie scene, you're probably not going to know a lot of the people that are on there, which isn't bad, but it's very, very good for them because then they get to showcase all these new people that nobody gets to see. A lot of them, WWF hasn't swooped in to get up yet. Probably because they're not household names like a lot of the guys that they have swooped up.
Yeah, I mean that's WWE's appeal. They go for the bigger name.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be kind of a slow process in the beginning, kind of like both companies getting their traction. There's only the main champion in AEW, which is Chris Jericho. We're beginning a tag team tournament to determine the tag team champion for AEW. We got a AEW Women's Championship coming up this upcoming Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I can honestly tell you from the ground floor, I've been through a lot of different firsts in wrestling. I was the first WrestleMania, the first Survivor Series, first Royal Rumble, first SummerSlam, pretty much the first Raw, the first SmackDown, the first Impact Zone for TNA, the first WCW Thunder. A lot of these I've witnessed in my life, so I'm really gonna watch AEW first. Because it's the first show of them all. So I will watch NXT, but I'm gonna watch it on a replay. But I am gonna watch AEW live.
Yeah, I'm sorry that NXT. I hate to break it to you, but if AEW is ahead, like it's talked about, it's gonna be easier for me to watch them first, rewatch NXT the next day. I'm not saying I don't want to watch NXT. I'm just saying it was much easier to watch live what's live and what is easily going to be adapted, the next day to watch that the next day.
Yeah, because we're in a time to where we're going to, how many firsts have you seen in your life? I mean, how many of these shows have you seen, in your life, and then you start to think, okay, well, in a couple of weeks, matter of fact, this upcoming week, I believe, the 30th and the 1st, NWA is doing their first live tapings for their show. Now they're gonna have a weekly show too.
Live from Nashville.
Shout out to Billy Corgan. Smashing Pumpkins, of
That's
course.
right. Nick Aldis, NWA World
Nick
Champion.
Aldis. When Nick Aldis, NWA World Champion. The Cowboy James Storm, NWA North.
He's I want to
National
say
champion.
national. There you go.
National champion. So and they're doing big things there too. So we're in a time in wrestling where we're gonna see a lot of firsts and a lot of rebrands, and I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, dude.
Going forward.
It's just the tip of the iceberg, to put it lightly. It's all over social media for those hardcore wrestling fans. Every day of the week right now has a wrestling show. It's there's a Raw, there's a SmackDown, there's NXT, there's AEW, there's NWA, there's Ring of Honor, there's Evolve, there's WoW, there's New Japan. There is so much wrestling right now. It is the absolute best time in the world to be a wrestling fan, regardless of what it is you like.
And then of course we got Impact, which is moving to Access TV.
That's right, and they're going to be on Tuesdays.
Gonna be on Tuesday nights. So we're also pretty much every day of the week we are going to have wrestling. As a wrestling fan, that is something great. If you like one brand, guess what? Go ahead, like the company, like whoever you like. This isn't just for us fans, for those casual fans that like WWF, fine, or WWE, stay in WWE. For those casual fans that like New Japan, guess what? Enjoy New Japan. No matter where you like this spectrum, this time in wrestling is probably what it was like back when the territories were going on. Back when NWA, AWA, all these WWF, Georgia wrestling, Memphis wrestling, all these
list goes on.
List goes on and on and on and on. And all these wrestling companies that were back then are pretty much what we see now. They're probably not as talented as they are now, but we're getting to see a time in wrestling where we are enjoying every single minute.
The variety is aplenty, and there is legitimately, as it's been said time and time and time and time again, now is the time where there is something for everybody. But let's hope that this is something that's for everybody, and this is the retro portion of our awesome matchup episode 22 of the Retro Rewind. And we're going to start off as we do each and every week with Monday Night Raw, episode 144, from January 29th, 1996, from the Civic Auditorium in Stockton, California. We're told that we're going to get HBK versus Yokozuna. There will be a recap of the attack on Gorilla Monsoon by Vader. We're going to get Diesel versus the British Bulldog, and despite legal action, there's going to be a Billionaire Ted segment. The Raw band opens up. Jerry Lawler says that Shawn threw Cornette over the ropes twice, so he will get 2 bonsai drops. And we're right into action with Diesel and British Bulldog. So to make this one, I guess, a little short here, it's pretty much Diesel dominates the opening bell. He's all over the place. Clotheslines here, clotheslines there. Bulldog works over the left leg of Diesel. All of a sudden, Yokozuna shows up for no reason. There's a long one-legged Boston Crab by Bulldog. That's when Yokozuna ends up getting a cheap shot. Bulldog stays on offense. He takes off the turnbuckle pad. Diesel sees it, reverses it, hits the snake eyes on the exposed turnbuckle. Yokozuna comes in, tries to hit the leg drop on Diesel, but he moves, ends up landing on the Bulldog. That's the pin. This match was fine. I gave it 2. Diesel can sell. Kevin Nash, though, that's a different story. Bulldog is good. I still have no fucking idea why Yokozuna was down in the ring. What do you got, Paul?
Yeah, dude, I literally hated this match. Can I say I hated this match? I literally hated this match.
I mean, I wasn't a fan. I'll go with that far.
And I wasn't even, I got bored. I went to go make popcorn, and I came back, and they were still in the ring wrestling. And by the way, Monica, you need to turn on your microphone because we need to hear you.
He called you Monica.
I called you Monica.
From like
Yes,
Friends.
I did. Because I need to hear you. Monica, Monica, Monica. Almost like Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Anyway,
Well, this match was. Can you hear me?
we can hear you loud and clear.
No,
All
I can
right.
hear you.
So this match was 8 minutes 13 seconds.
God,
Yeah, it was a little too long, right?
a little.
But it was still a good match. I mean, it was alright.
I mean, it was all right. Did you have a rating for it?
I'm giving this match 1.5 stars.
Paul, what about your rating?
Can I go negative numbers now?
Dude, we told you from
I'm sorry.
last
I'm
week.
sorry. I'm sorry, man.
It is your rating, bro. You give it what it is you want.
Okay, I gave it a half a star for each guy, only because I like them both. I really wish this match wasn't as long as it was.
Agreed. Fair warning to those listening out there. It's dinner time in the Marquez house. Everybody's sitting down. I would love a plate. I don't care. That nobody's gonna see me eating. It's gonna sit right here. Anyway, I'm starving. It's time for dinner, but we're gonna wait on that part. Let's get into the Slam Jam segment. Doc Hendricks talks about the next In Your House event where Bret Hart will defend the world title against Diesel. Bret's promo says that the WWF is run on Hitman power. He challenges Diesel to a 15-high-foot steel cage match. Thank you, love. And it's apparently the most dangerous match in all of professional wrestling. And I'm just thinking, well, times have changed, sir. Bret Hart has never lost a cage match. Calls Diesel a dummy. We get Shawn Michaels versus Owen Hart for Shawn's title match at Mania. We get a crybaby match for the 1-2-3 Kid against Razor Ramon. Triple H and Duke the Dumpster because they randomly attacked each other with trash cans. Duke talks about how the people from Turner sent over letters saying that the segments, that they liked the segments, but then all of a sudden now they're threatening legal action. We end up getting the Billionaire Tag segment. He's at the podium with the Huckster and Nacho Man. He claims he's not a hillbilly. He brushes off most of the questions, tells everyone to come work for him. He owns his own news network. He finally answers one question, and that's, what won't you do to put WWF out of business? And he says, well, I won't use my own money. And that obviously didn't sit well with the Nacho Man and the Huckster. What'd you guys think of this fucking segment?
Monica.
I'm gonna fuck you up, Paul.
So don't you dare call me that.
I'm just, you know me with my, I'm this whole Hulk Hogan crap and all that. Yeah, they just need to put a stop to this shit because it's just like little kids fighting in a fucking, in the sandbox and shit, and they're just going back and forth. WWF.
Well, it is Vince McMahon.
Stupid. Well, then we already know Vince McMahon sucks and he's stupid.
That he is, and it is what it is.
Yes, what Moni said.
What Moni said.
I completely agree with her 150,000%.
Agreed. Let's get into the next match. Body Donna is taking on the Godwins. How the hell are these guys, the Body Donnas? They are not in good shape. Good shape.
That's what I said. And I like Chris Candido, but Chris,
when we saw him in ECW compared to this, it was like, wow. That's just, that's just me. When him now compared to his ECW run is just night and day. So nobody mind my son in the background. He's just dying for his nuggets. It's dinner time. We're all hungry.
I want nuggets.
I heard that, right? Anyway, let's get into this match. The nuggies, exactly.
Where's your lady at? Tell her I want some nuggets too.
She's the one handling out all the dinner out. She's the one doing all the hard work as I sit here with a microphone in front of me. Anyway, it was a domination showing by the Body Donnas. They play twin magic. Shunny starts flirting with Hillbilly Jim, runs scared when he makes the move because, you can't flirt with a hillbilly and expect him not to come your way. Is it Phineas? I think his name was. Hits a reverse DDT, the slop drop for the win. Sonny is stuck in the ring and ends up doing the do-si-do. I gave it a half a star, and I guess people like the fucking Godwins. I don't. I think this is just like death TV.
Does anybody know? Does anybody know who Phineas becomes later on?
No. Who?
I believe he becomes part of one of the acolytes with Bradshaw, and he was in the ministry of.
There you go. He's in the ministry. I was about to say he wasn't an acolyte.
Ministry.
The only other acolyte I remember was Farouk, Ron Simmons,
and
APA. That's all I got. Can't be Boss Man, is it?
John Bradshaw Layfield.
Well, yeah, that's who the other guy was. I meant. Obviously not.
That's
this one.
it. We cannot do this show anymore. I'm sorry. There are technical difficulties coming. Sorry, my bad. I'm heading to San Diego to go kill some guy named Moses.
Bring it on, bro.
Yeah.
I'll be if you hear a knock at your door, please do not answer it.
But I like answering my door. I like visitors. Anyway, we go into the recap of
I'll
Vader's.
make sure it's a midget hooker so she can put you in your dick.
There you go. We get a recap of Vader's destruction at the Royal Rumble. Then we see him attack Gorilla Monsoon. Clarence Mason and Jim Cornette are out cutting a promo saying the suspension is unlawful. He says,
by the way,
go ahead.
Body Donna's and Godwin's was 2 minutes 18 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Well, I appreciate the time, Miss Moni Lynn.
And my rating was a 1.
There we go. Again, nobody gave a crap about this match.
My rating was 1.
Everybody's just throwing out ratings. No.
Yeah, we're just going to throw out ratings. You get a rating. You get a rating. This is like Oprah all over again.
You get a rating. You suck. You get a rating. You suck. That's all. Anyway. So,
all right. Sorry, Mon.
It's all. Monsoon put his hands on Vader, so he acted in self-defense. They threatened further legal action if Vader is not reinstated. I will admit, last week, the best part about the whole thing is when Vader was running rampant, and he says that he declares war on WWF, and he's going to go after Mr. McMahon and Mr. Bah! It was just the greatest. Anyway, Vince is in the ring, and he lets us know that Gorilla Monsoon's going to be out for a while, so there's going to be another acting president, and it's none other than the one, the only, Rowdy Piper. I fucking cried. Okay, let's just be 100%. I heard that fucking snare and those bagpipes, dude. And as a grown man,
tell me you did not get goosebumps. Tell me you did. I got
goosebumps, dude, and a few tears ran down my face. I'll say it just like that. We're gonna see a lot of Roddy when it comes to, when we get to WCW. He's eventually gonna end up being the president again of another professional wrestling company. So this is where it starts. But this was great. I shed a tear. How did you guys feel when the music hit and you actually saw Roddy come out?
Oh, goosebumps.
Dude, I didn't expect
goosebumps.
that. Yeah. Really unexpected.
Literal goosebumps. No doubt. Without a doubt, it was goosebumps.
I will say that like seeing him come out was legit mad surreal, and it turned this show from being all right to great.
Right.
So anyway,
did you see that?
Yeah, no, I'm actually going to go through the whole thing right now. Piper wants to be called Mr. President. He still himself.
No, I liked it. I liked it that he did the whole.
Go ahead, Paul.
I liked it that he did the whole. There we go.
There we go.
We got some music. Tell me that didn't get you. You heard that, and tell me that didn't get you.
I'm about to say, yeah. If you didn't catch a little something in your throat, I don't think you're a real wrestling fan.
Exactly, dude. I like that that airplane spin. Not only
great.
did he do it once, he did it twice. And
Yeah.
the fact that Vince McMahon was like, "Well, what the hell are you doing?" Like, wait. Like,
And then he just plays it off like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm in it." But anyway,
and then he did it again, and that was the best part. Is that he did it again, and he was like, "I got you up.
Anyway.
Oh man, and Vince is just like, "Can you put me down already? Don't you know I own this company and I look like a goofball?"
Roddy
Oh,
pushes the
Nice.
new. No, let me finish real quick. Roddy pushes the new generation. Says they're stronger, they're faster, but they're a little confused, and he's here to straighten things out. Piper takes out a list of rules, and Vince reminds him that he's never lived by rules in his entire life. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're right," and then he puts the fucking rules away. I fucking laughed. It was hilarious. It was just it was total Roddy Piper right there. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're right." He just puts the fucking shit away. It was great. He's out of his mind.
That was my favorite part of the night. I honestly admit that was my favorite part of the night.
And just like how you guys had mentioned, McMahon gets put in the airplane spin twice. Piper's crazy, and it was fantastic. What more do you guys have to relive for Roddy? Up, here we go again with the music. Everybody hit the bagpipes.
there we go.
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia like a mofo. Speaking of nostalgia, we
Okay.
got a Mankind promo.
Oh my God!
Yes.
And no. We got some
I got
sadistic
excited.
guy who's supposedly in the background, and then you were trying to figure out, and it wasn't until Jerry Lawler actually said, "I think his name is Mankind."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you knew nothing, but we figured it was the one and only Mankind, especially when he finishes that lovely promo with "Have a nice day." So,
Yeah.
anyway, we get Yokozuna versus Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, he's got bangs or whatever. I don't know what the fuck's going on with his hair. He looks weird. Long story
I can't
short,
stand the way he looks.
long story short on this match, Yokozuna uses his strength at first. Owen comes out just to be a dick. There's a moonsault from Shawn. We get a few cheap shots from Owen Hart. He ends up sending Shawn into the middle post. Yokozuna is too strong to stay down. Comes back. Shawn misses an elbow drop, makes a comeback, shuts down Yokozuna, catches him with a double X handle. Yokozuna ends up coming in and hitting Yokozuna with a heel kick, then a super kick by Shawn. That's a win. I gave it a 2.5. It was good. It dragged a little bit. Shawn's great. After the match, Brett came out. I'm sorry, not Brett. Bulldog came out. And after Owen and Yokozuna get in an argument, they all think that they could beat up on Shawn. And then Diesel comes out. The buddies are back. The two dudes with attitudes are back, as I should say. Cornette says that his men are fine despite the deception. He calls Shawn and Diesel the WWF version of the Glimmer Twins. And they challenge them next week for a tag title match. That's what ends the show. But before we end Raw, what did you guys give this match rating?
I gave this match a 3. 11 minutes 44 seconds. It was a pretty long match.
Yeah, it did go a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little long, but yeah. Paul, what did you give
Yes.
this match?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was listening to Sean's theme song. I actually gave it a 2. Miss Moni Lynn, my queen. I gave it a 2. I am speaking right to you because I am looking right at you. By the way, some of us are on a video chat and some of us aren't.
Yeah, and some of us
won't name
aren't.
any names that aren't on it because he's supposed to be eating dinner right about now and he's probably got a chicken nugget in his mouth. But
I had
anyways.
no idea my camera was off.
Oh yeah, hey, yeah, because he can't see himself. That's why.
Well,
All of a
exactly.
sudden,
I'm in the
look,
corner.
all of
I
a
don't
sudden
see
he's
shit.
gonna appear. All of a sudden he's got a big ass chicken wing in his mouth. Anyways,
I'm not chicken wing. I mean
no,
the
I gave
lasagna.
this match a 2. I miss Shawn Michaels in the ring. Can I say that?
Absolutely, you can. I miss it too.
That man could make anybody look good. He's kind of like the Ric Flair of making people look good in the ring.
Yeah.
AJ is very similar to that.
And AJ Styles, thank you. I was gonna get to that one too. And AJ Styles is another really, really good worker to make anybody, even John Cena, look good in the ring.
I mean, hey, if he can make John look that good, the man is that good. So, for an overall rating of this show, I gave it a 1 thumb up, and I can do it with confidence because you look at it here. Mankind cut a promo, Diesel had a good match, Shawn looked good, and fucking Roddy Piper showed up. Good job. The wrestling was lackluster, but hey, I enjoyed the show.
Yeah. Yep. I gave it a thumb up. as well. Next week, we're going to have Shawn and Diesel versus Yokozuna and Bulldog, plus Bret Hart versus Undertaker, just to let you know.
For the world title, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes, I gave it a big thumb up too, and for every single reason why you guys said. Mankind, we got the Mankind promo. We got Shawn Michaels looking like Shawn Michaels in that ring. Very, very vintage Shawn Michaels in that ring. And we got Billionaire Ted.
Oh, yeah, the Billionaire Ted. That was good.
And that's not the reason. I didn't give a shit about that. But we got Rowdy Piper.
That was
and
probably
actually,
the best
you know
show.
what? I heard Mankind, and I was waiting for this, honestly.
If we could only be so lucky, but no, it's a few
Right.
years till we get that music. But no, it was, like I said, it was overall, it was good. It was so good to the point where Roddy didn't wrestle, and he's my wrestler of the week for WWF.
Who did you pick? Shawn Michaels?
No, Roddy Piper.
You know what? I actually gave it to Shawn Michaels.
I can dig that. I can give it to Shawn.
I gave it to Shawn. I gave it to Shawn because Shawn made Yokozuna actually look really, really good in that ring. So
I dig that.
And I agree with you, Paul.
So here's something that I think we're going to continue to do. We've been doing this the last couple of weeks. Is we've been finishing out the show without picking a wrestler of the week. We kind of get a group of a few guys together. We post on the RWT group, and we get it based on the fans. So we're going to do the same thing again tonight, as I think we're going to do for a few more weeks until I start saying that I'm sick and tired of what the people think. But for right now, it's actually been a lot of fun. So we'll keep track. We'll talk to the group. When the show's uploaded is when you'll know who the wrestler of the week is. But let's go ahead. We'll jump into the next show, episode 22 of WCW Monday Night Nitro, also January 29th, 1996, from the Civic Center in Canton, Ohio, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bischoff says tonight is the biggest, most exciting night in Nitro history. We got Savage versus the Giant for the world title. Hogan gets Flair, and the Road Warriors are debuting after they showed up at Clash of Champions. And we go right into Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. I'm beyond shocked to see Hulk Hogan not in the main event. So
I am beyond shocked that Hulk Hogan is opening Nitro.
I am not beyond shocked that Hulk Hogan is even in the fucking episode.
he's gonna be in every episode. There's nothing we can do about
I honestly
that.
don't give a shit that Hulk Hogan is in this fucking episode. I don't even give a damn that Hulk Hogan is anywhere near this damn episode because, of course, we know it's Hulk Hogan. He's going to be in every damn episode, probably up until, till it ends.
2000.
Pretty much.
Anyway, Savage had the slew of ladies last week, the brothel as I called it, and this week Hogan has the brothel squad as I put on my notes. The ref actually waited for Flair to get in the ring before ringing the bell, and I'm like, oh, holy crap, somebody actually reminded him that's how you ring the bell, unlike last week. It's all Hogan from the jump. Nobody's fucking surprised. He no-sells Flair's chops. There's a back body drop. They fight outside for a bit. They don't break the 5 count, so the ref pulls Hogan off, and Hogan cocks his fist like he's going to punch the ref, and it just gives Flair the advantage to give him the chop block. I wrote way too much about this match. Thumb to the eye by Flair is what finally gets the momentum on his side. Hogan is finally showing signs of humanity. Jimmy Hart is choking Hulk Hogan. I fucking cheered. Jimmy Hart back again with some stomps before Hogan curls up into the ropes. Flair works over the knee before locking in the figure 4. Hogan gives the finger wag, then reverses the hold. Bischoff points out the pythons. Flair selling the vertical suplex like nobody ever has. They strike exchange. Back body drop. Hogan sells like a fish out of water, and then he's immediately back up. You guys know the rest. But Jimmy Hart makes a distraction. Arn Anderson hits the ring. He fights Hogan off, but then there's a high heel that was taken off of Miss Elizabeth's shoe, and Flair uses it to hit Hogan in the eye, and that's the finish. I fucking loved it. I can't believe I'm saying this. I rather enjoyed this match. Yes, Hulk Hogan was in it. It was a bit long. Seeing Hulk Hogan with multiple comebacks isn't fun, but the ending was fucking great. And immediately, right after the end of this, Ric Flair, right back in the rest of the week conversation. A bloody Hulk Hogan leads us into the next segment. What did you guys think?
I agree. I'm not happy that, Hulk Hogan, whatever. But Ric Flair sells this shit great. He's really, you see the Moni rewatch? With the whole, wait. I wrote something, but I cannot find my notes.
Take your time.
Anyways, this match was 13 minutes, 36 seconds. I'm rating it like a 3. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 because Ric Flair, which is my wrestler of the week, again, and, he sells it good. He's great at selling this shit.
That he is one of the best sellers of all time.
Senor Morales?
I have to say, Ric Flair, as great as he is or was, and not using it in the past tense that he died, just using it in the past tense that he's not wrestling anymore. But as great as he is, to have to bring himself down to a level of when Hulk Hogan is horrible.
Cringeworthy.
Did I say horrible? No, it was fucking horrible.
Like I said,
it was
absolutely
beyond
cringeworthy.
Fucking horrible. It was so disgusting to watch. The fact that Hulk Hogan at his 90-year-old age at this time,
leather skin.
Yeah, with his leather skin and looking like, I don't know, he should be a fucking alligator bag at this point, looking like he should be a fucking Gucci bag.
Oh yeah, on the front shelf, on the fucking front, in the fucking window display of a Gucci store.
Yeah, exactly. And on the fucking what the hell is the name of that damn fucking Dolce and Gabbana? Dolce and Gabbana. Yeah, that's where he should be at. And he was no selling. The fact that Flair is hitting those good ass chops and he's selling like a dickhead.
That made me furious. I'm like,
all
the moves did not sell. The fucking chops, really? But he got it.
Yeah, that fucking
pisses
me off. That's what fucking pisses me off. Is like you're not gonna sell for fucking Flair, for Flair. You're not fucking above him. You are not in his fucking league. You just fucking suck balls. And Flair is fucking carrying you in this damn match. Literally carrying you in this match. By the way, did you notice that one of the women that actually walked Hogan out, wasn't that his wife?
Yep, Hogan.
One of those.
That's right. Linda Hogan leads the brothel.
Yeah, Linda Hogan was one of the women, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she was on there last week too.
Yeah, and then I noticed. I didn't even notice her in the match. I actually had to rewatch it again to see because she came out with
Savage last week.
With Savage last week. So I was like, wait a second, I remembered this, so I went back and watched it again. But yeah,
that's right. So now Linda Hogan runs the brothel.
Oh yeah, so that's what she does.
That's what we stated last week on the show. So that's how you know that she's with him.
She runs the brothel. All right. She up there at the Bunny Ranch in Vegas.
Handle it. Anyway, we'll get into the next one. And if this match is not straight out of 1987, I don't know what the fuck is. Because we got the Faces of Fear taking on the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal. Paul, I'm going to ask you. You're an old gentleman. You've been a wrestling fan for quite some time. Who are the Faces of Fear?
You don't have to tell people my age.
Did I say your age? I just said you've been around for a while.
No, you didn't have to because you said I'm old. No, that just, right there, when you say you're old, no, that just tells people I'm old. Thank you very much.
Who are the Faces of Fear?
Ming.
Hey, old man.
King Haku. And the Barbarian, who was actually part of a group in WWF with the Warlord.
That he was. And which actually, believe it or not, those two men were former NWA World Champions. Tag Team Champions, that is.
Yes, they were. And taking on the Road Warriors, who were actually the Legion of Doom in WWF just a few years before this.
And they will be again in a few years after.
And they will be again in a few years after. So, a dare. Actually, the funny thing is that this was Animal's actual return match.
Yep.
To wrestling, because he had been out for a while with some ailing back injuries, but you could tell.
Oh yeah, you
could tell he hadn't been in this wrestling ring, and you could tell it was kind of like he had taken some years off to not be in the ring and try and come back. So
agreed. But let me get into this. Hawk and Animal are back, and it's fucking awesome. Faces of Fear, the Barbarian and Ming. Power slam, elbow drop. Hawk no sells Ming pile driver. Power slams Ming. There's a cheap shot by Barbarian, who actually looked really good in this match. Barbarian beats on Animal on the outside before landing a drop kick. Big power bomb, and I do mean big power bomb by Barbarian. Pile driver, diving close. It was a pile driver by Barbarian, but he was standing there. All of a sudden, Hawk climbs a turnbuckle, hits his diving clothesline. That's the win. It wasn't exactly the Doomsday device, but it was a very competitive match. Like I said, it felt straight out of 1987. Two gigantic dudes make a tag team, and they face two other gigantic dudes. I gave it a 2.5. It was 1988. They're just not as big. And I'm excited to see what the World Warriors do in WCW.
Yeah, we are back to 1987. And yes, and then you are, without a doubt, this was probably one of those vintage matches. And I'm not really sure how to take this. I mean, I gave it a 2 only because I like the Road Warriors. And I gave 1 particularly to the Barbarian, who is a really, really nice guy. I met him when he was in the AWA. I actually met him in Vegas, and he's a really, really nice guy. He was really, really down to earth and very friendly.
Cool beans. Moni, you got a rating for us? All right.
I'm loving how the crowd is chanting
LOD
rather than Faces of Fear. 9 minutes 1 second for this match. I'm giving this match I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 1. I'm cute.
1. Wow, she's not liking the 1987 style. I dig it.
Yeah, they were a little bad, the Warriors.
Give them time; they'll only get worse.
Yeah, I think they're just rusty. I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, Hawk is normally the guy that's in there for the majority of the matches anyway, and when he's rusty, it shows. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll get into the Mean Gene segment. Mean Gene comes out. He's with Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan says he thought Arn Anderson was a man of his world, but Pillman is a wild man last week after Hogan's match. Arn comes out with Pillman. He says he is a man of his world, and he will handle the situation. He rips Pillman a new one for not being out there when Flair just beat Hogan. Instead, Arn, as always, had to take care of business. He tells Pillman, "You're not an individual. You're a horseman. You're the elite in pro sports." He says Arn Anderson is going to give Pillman some tough love. He starts taking off his belt, but that's when Hugh Morris and Kevin Sullivan start to attack them from behind. Pillman gets whipped with the belt by Sullivan. Arn gets into a scuffle, DDTs his way out of it, says Sullivan has just showed his true colors and Arn wants Sullivan, and he's not asking. And Pillman says he got him into this, and he'll get them out. And just to see the fire in Arn's eyes, like, I can't wait for next week against him and Sullivan. Like, that match can suck, but if Arn just goes out there and hits a spine buster into DDT, I'm going to go nuts. Like, I'm excited for this.
I have no comment. I just thought this was just a bunch of random stuff that was just happening. This was pretty much a continuance of. I want to say this is quite possibly the demise of what the Four Horsemen would end up being, and I'm trying to remember right now, and I believe I'm probably gonna have to go ahead of everybody to get all the information, but I believe that going to be the very last few times that we were going to see the Four Horsemen in WCW.
That's not true.
If I'm mistaken, please tell me. Please let me know.
I'll let you know right now. You are mistaken. There are going to be many versions of the Four Horsemen in our coming years of the Retro Rewind. Unfortunately, right now, Pillman's time is not very much longer. I don't want to spoil the future, but I do want to let you know there is a very well-known former defensive lineman who may be making his way with the Horsemen, and one former linebacker on his way out. So, but only time will tell with that. Let's get into this next match that I didn't think was going to be a match. It looked like it was just going to be a fucking interview segment with Mean Gene. Sherry comes out. She's talking with Mean Gene. All of a sudden, Medusa shows up. She jumps, and she apparently had ruined the wedding from Clash of Champions. Medusa ends up jumping on Sherry with a crossbody. I guess somehow that starts the match. They brawl over ringside. The ref is out there following him. He's not counting him. What a fucking geek. Big right hand and kicks by Sherry. She climbs the turnbuckles, turns it into a small package. Sherry wins. Medusa then kills this poor girl after the match. And when I mean kill, I mean kill. She dropped her on her fucking neck with this German suplex. She was dead. She didn't move. Then the thing that just made it worse, it's like one of the worst landings you've ever seen. And then you see this girl sitting there, not moving, nothing. And Medusa is just killing her. She's just killing her. She's slapping her. She's punching her. She's slamming her head up and down. And I'm just thinking, dude, if she fucking broke her neck, what are you doing? Like, I mean,
she's way brutal. She's way more brutal here than she was in WWF. I'm glad that they brought her here. I want to see more Medusa. I'm watching it right. Oh,
Moni, where you watch? Handle it.
The other way. Dude, she did the yes kicks.
And there's this small package right here. As Moni's doing the awesome Moni rewatch. Now I'm gonna watch a little bit more with you. I want to see. You got the yes kicks. You know, they looked pretty all right. They weren't too bad. They looked a little stiff, is what they did. But if you want to see anything stiff, it's like I said, it's this fucking German suplex. That German suplex was just. I can't keep dwelling on it. Paul, tell me about it. Look at this.
Dude, and that was just horrible. That landing was... I was waiting for her just to roll out of the ring and just be like, okay, it's done. And it's like, you could see Sherry's just out of it. You can literally see she's knocked out. She was knocked out. And then just her slapping her and kicking her, it was like, wake up.
Dude,
she was out.
It was just so bad.
People, I'm telling you, go back and watch this, and then
look at that.
Close your eyes.
Banging her head up against down now.
It's just so brutal.
That was bad. It was legit bad.
I'm not saying this to encourage it, okay? But if Medusa wanted to fucking leave an impression, then goddamn did she fucking leave an impression. You went out there like a fucking shooter. Like a legit shooter. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Eventually going to start beating the shit out of dudes anyway, so.
By the way, I gave it a 5. I gave it a rating of a 5.
I gave it a 1. I said sloppy wrestling. Medusa killed this poor girl. Somebody get her under control.
I'm just joking, dude. I gave it a 1. I just the end of it. That German was just It
was brutal. I'm giving this a 1.5, and it was only 1:52 before she killed her.
Well, yeah, fucking hell. Anyway, I believe this is the main event of the evening, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm surprised Sherry was walking after that. I'm surprised they had to carry her.
Dude, was she walking? Was she?
No,
because I remember they fucking had to stretch her out or something.
Because they kind of procrastinated on coming back.
It was, dude.
They went to commercial.
Her neck goes sideways.
That commercial break must have been a little bit long because when they came back, it was still the Nitro picture. So that must mean that they were wheeling her out. by that
Had to
time.
be. It was
Brutal.
January 29th, 1996, Monday Night Nitro. That's the one you guys need to go see.
Called the next time he calls me Monica.
Bam, on the neck, bro. Going sideways. How you living?
I
Anyway,
believe it.
let's
Like
get into
me
the
now.
let's get into the main event.
Look, don't threaten me with a good time.
Hello. Main event time. WCW World Championship match. The Giant taking on the Macho Man Randy Savage, current champion at the time. The slew of ladies are back. Hopefully they're better luck for him than they are Hogan. Savage attacks Giant from behind with the title in a sneaky fashion. The ref calls off the match. Flair comes out. It goes after Savage. Beats him left and right. Stalling vertical suplex by the Giant. Savage is just getting beaten on. Nobody saves him. He has no other friends. Where the fuck is Sting? Where the fuck is Luger? Flair is excited to see Giant killing Savage. He tells him, give him a choke slam. Finally, Hogan comes out, taped up like a dummy, with steel chair in hand. Comes in, clearing house. Dungeon of Doom is out. Hogan is, with one eye, laying out every single fucking one of them with the lightest chair shots you've ever seen in your life. Flair grabs the mic. He's going bananas. Says he beat Hogan twice on this very show, and at Super Bowl there will be 2 cages, and he's going to beat him one more time. Giant says, Hulk Hogan, your heart, body, and soul belong to me, and I'm going to make I'm going to make my bread with your bones. And that is how Nitro ends. I'm glad I didn't get to see Savage versus the Giant in an actual match. I would have been mad. It probably would have sucked a lot.
No, it would have sucked. It would have sucked a whole lot, not just a lot. It would have sucked a whole lot. I'll put it. You know what? It was. Do you remember all the rants that we get to see Ric Flair have done?
Oh yeah.
And this was just pretty much a classic one.
Oh yeah, this was NWA all over again. He's in the back that he just fucking snatches the mic out of Shivani's hand and just starts rambling. That's exactly what this was. And you see Bischoff like, I'm out of here. I can't top that. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and he was, dude, this was just funny. It was funny, both funny and freaking crazy. And we got to see the legit crazy side of freaking Ric Flair.
Crazy is an understatement.
Look at that. And as we're doing this, Moni is doing her rewatch, and you can see Flair and the craziness that he was doing. I suggest everybody go back, watch the German by that Medusa does on Sherry, and then at the end, watch this freaking rant by Ric Flair. Ric Flair is classic. I made no sense of all of it, and I
had to rewatch it 5 times over to get what I got.
I rewatched it 3 times, and none of it made sense. All of a sudden, he starts posing. All of a sudden, he's doing
he starts flexing. It's like, what are you doing?
It was like you're getting mad at Hulk Hogan. I beat you twice. I beat you twice on this show. I beat you twice in that ring over there. And all of a sudden, he just started rambling about.
I don't even know
whatever.
The fucking coke kicked in. Just
oh, it reminded me of when Macho Man was on that good one, on that good cocaine, and he was over there. He goes, I'm just in the cup of coffee and then the cream of the crop. You put me in the coffee and I make it all go away.
It's like, what?
And I don't know what the hell he was talking about. It was just
all right.
Woo.
Anyway, so like I said, that's how Nitro ends. As I was more entertained than I was Raw, but not by a whole lot. The wrestling wasn't that much better, but there was a lot of actions and the stories were building. I really wanted to give it 2 thumbs up, but the fact of the matter is it barely garnered the 1. It was still a little bit better of a show than Raw, but it in no way garnered 2 thumbs up. Wrestling was mediocre.
I'm sorry,
but the action was great.
Hold on. This is legit. I'm sorry. The edge goes to Raw.
Oh,
and
this is the first time we've disagreed on that.
I got Roddy Piper back.
Okay,
I got my first glimpse at Mankind. I got vintage Shawn Michaels in a ring. All I got on Nitro is Hulk Hogan looking like he's in a geriatric wheelchair, and in a wheelchair.
Well, here's what I'm
And-
getting at. We get
and-
Flair. I got Flair for like almost 30 minutes.
Okay, that's all we got. We got
Hey,
Flair.
that was enough for me.
We got Flair. That was all we had for the whole show. We only got Flair. We got Miss Elizabeth and we got Flair. Now, mind you, we got Elizabeth last week too, but or not last week.
No, it was last week. She's out last week.
Them mentioning no. It was last.
They were just mentioning her.
Yeah, they
No,
were just mentioning that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's
were
right. No, you
mentioning-
guys are right.
She came back at Clash of Champions. So again, for those of us who didn't watch Clash of Champions, this was our first glimpse at Elizabeth in WCW, and finally back. I think it's just weird that we have these storylines that aren't really going anywhere. I mean, we had Conan that came on last week, and
that was settled during Clash, and we never saw Conan again.
And we haven't seen Conan until later on, whenever.
I don't think we're going to see Conan again until after the Outsiders show up.
Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, all we got is a bunch of people just rambling on about whatever, and there's no storylines. It's like, let me just throw Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair out there, and the Nacho Man and the Giant, and let's see what the hell we can do.
I love Mean Gene.
Yeah. We only got one interview by Mean Gene. No, 2 interviews by Mean Gene, right?
Well, yeah.
It was like an interview in a quarter.
Okay. Anyways, regardless, I just thought Raw was a hell of a lot better. I honestly just.
Yeah.
Just
That's
for
my
those,
thought. I'm
just
sticking
for
to
those
it.
3 reasons that I mentioned, it was a hell of a lot better than Nitro.
Well, I'm still gonna give this just a thumbs up, like I did for Raw. Like you mentioned, we got Piper, we got Mankind gonna come, and then WCW Flair fucking dominates this whole shit. The end, I mean, he grabs the fucking headset and tries to take over, and Medusa. I mean, even though that was pretty ugly, intense match, I think it was intense. She was good though, dude. She was a little brutal. I like that shit. And then with Pepe in his Dracula costume.
Yeah, the Dracula.
She straight said Pepe in his Dracula costume. Oh my goodness.
Anyways, all right.
Shout out to Pepe.
That's gonna end this one. 1 thumbs up for all the shows, and that probably even includes NXT, to keep it real with you. Speaking of NXT, again, keep your ears and eyes peeled to Twitter, SoundCloud, and God knows whatever else. Either Friday or Saturday, it's going to drop. We may or may not have a special guest on that show. I don't want to confirm it because, you know what? I'm just going to entitle it. Check this out. So here's the gimmick. I want to use the audience. I want to use my 2 awesome co-hosts for this situation. One of our RWT members, he has a certain name, David. He is my brother. He is a wrestling fan. I'm not going to say he's a diehard fan, but he is a wrestling fan. But what an even bigger fan he is of a football fan. And we're all diehard Charger fans, as you can tell from my good days when they win and the bad days when they lose. But
Who?
Exactly. He wants to start up a football podcast, and I'm more than willing to help him out. I'm a helpful guy. I'm here to help. Like, that's me. I don't mind it. But I demand commitment, just like I asked.
He's one of those helpful Honda guys.
Yeah, helpful Honda guys, I'm not a fan of Honda, but hey, if they're helpful, I'm down for the cause. But just like Paul and Moni understand, this is a job, and this takes commitment. Unfortunately, we're not being paid just yet, but it still requires, the commitment and the pride and the everything that an actual job requires.
Yeah, I need my check. I need my checks. Actually, I like it in cash.
They're in the mail, my man.
Please.
They're in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the gimmick is...
Send me food.
Just send me food. Just mail me burrito, she says. Anyway.
Yeah, Moni's gonna go to the Dollar Tree and get me some of them crack cookies. That's what she's
the crack cookies from the Dollar Tree. Anyway, so here's the gimmick. My brother has what I'm calling an impossible task for him to complete, and this impossible task includes he has to then do 2 shows with us, the Retro Crew, and the first show he's going to do is the Wednesday Night War show. Negative. Paul's already not happening.
I'm just kidding.
He's like, I'm not having this. This fucking guy's not even going to show up.
Yeah, that's cutting my check, man. I ain't no. I
Oh,
I
don't
ain't for
worry.
it.
He's working pro bono. Don't you trip. Paper
Oh,
chip.
okay, pro bono. Oh, okay, then never mind. That's good.
So the gimmick is he's got to prove to me.
You cutting into my money, then I'm about to cut somebody
Hey,
else.
somebody's getting cut around here. So this is the gimmick. He's got 2 shows to do. So if he does well in both these shows, and trust me, I'm going to be asking the fans, and I'm going to be asking my co-hosts. And if
Wait
he
a
does,
second. Why couldn't you just give him a retro rewind show?
because you know what, dude, I want to see the chops. I want a
Look,
real test.
Look,
If I don't
he
no,
can
hold on,
do
wait.
one.
If I
One.
just give him the
One
retro,
half of this show, one half of this show. If he could do Raw or Nitro, he could do one half of this show. One half. For one half.
Okay, he wants
one half of this.
Let him do an episode.
That's what I'm
do an
trying to say, though.
episode.
He wants to ramble about an hour and a half about football. He's going to need to be able to cover both the Wednesday night and the retro show. You're going to need to cover all spectrums, bro.
Okay, we're gonna jab him really, really good because everything is gonna be tossed to him first. Every time you do something, we're gonna toss it to him first. He's got to be the first one to say something, because if not, we're gonna take his ass out into the woodshed and beat his ass.
Or he's going to get the belt, just like Arn was going to get Pillman. The tough
yeah,
loves are
I'm
coming.
sorry, my bad.
The tough loves are coming.
He's getting the chancla to the face.
There you
Chancla.
go. We'll
Anyways.
throw the chancla.
All right. Well, let's just say that is something in the works. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. My wife's already playing it off because she knows better. But we will see. Will the commitment prevail? Who knows? But you know what I do want to know? I want to know where we can find all you fantastic folks on social media. I'm going to start it with the beautiful Miss Moni Lynn. Go ahead, Moni.
I
Cut her off guard.
fixed my handle on Twitter, and so you can find me on
It's no longer
on
Monica.
Twitter.
It's no longer Monica Lynn.
Shush up. It is Wrestling Nerd C1, because long ass fucking.
Wait a second. Wait. Hold on. That's not the one that you sent me.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
That's it. You know what? She's too drunk.
drunk.
You
The
know what?
Modelo's
Hold
got
on.
Don't take the Modelos lightly, guys.
Hold on. Take 2. Go.
Okay, here we go. It is Moni Lynn WNC
There you go.
at Twitter. Yay!
At Twitter.
All
Yay.
right.
It'll be uploaded on the link tree, so just keep eyes out on that one.
And you can also find me on Facebook under Wrestling Nerd Chick, or on RWT Moni Lynn, as well as Instagram. Instagram. I think it's Wrestling Nerd Chick on Instagram.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Okay. There we go. That's where you can find me. Paul, where are we going to find you?
You can find me on Twitter and IG under RWT_Deadman. Both of them. Being a little bit more active on both. I'm going to be promoting both shows that we are going to be doing. And if you have any suggestions, have anything that you guys want me to see or hear or whatever, send it to me. Or just tag me in it, and I'd be love to take a look at it.
There we go. That's how Paul does.
Might even share it. Tag me in it.
He's a helpful guy. He'll do it too. He'll post it. He'll tag you. He'll everything.
Yeah, I'm like the helpful Honda guy.
Helpful Honda guy. Except he drives something better than a Honda, I'm sure. But very quickly,
close to it, it's a Hyundai.
It's a Hyundai. Close to it. Maybe a little better, maybe not. But I will say this before we end. There's only 2 guys up for candidates of Wrestler of the Week, and that's Roddy Piper and Ric Flair. Again, going up to the fans on this one. It'll be up shortly. If you're on the RWT group, now's your chance to be heard. If not, get there. You know where to get there. It's in the link tree below. You can get to the Facebook group, join it with the rest of us. To get to Max Wrestling, of course, you guys can check out Max Wrestling, Max Wrestling Podcast, maxwrestling.net. The promo climax, Miss Moni Lynn was gifted some lovely 3 points thanks to her bye. However, and I am saying this with a little bit of a heavy heart, I have been given my first loss by none other than Lewis of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Somehow, some way, he came in, wiped the floor with me, but that's just fine because the last time I checked, I'm still top the leader block with 6 points. He barely got his first match in with 3 points. So you go ahead, you celebrate your victory. I'm still atop. I'm still the guy. Looking Mike Larkin in the eyes, looking at both the knowledge title and the promo title. So that's that for that. SoundCloud.com/SmartMarkRadio. Find all your fun stuff there. Google Play, now officially on Spotify. Yes, it's happened. Yeah, we're there. Just all you got to do is Smart Mark Radio on Spotify.
Yeah.
Every episode that's ever been uploaded on SoundCloud is officially on Spotify now, so check that out. We're trying to get it for everybody, for everyone, everywhere. iTunes podcast is next, soon to be Slacker Radio. Twitter account SmartMark R for radio, not raspberries, not reading rainbow, not ridiculousness. I think that's about it. There's a pay-per-view coming up, so expect us to go live and review that. And yeah, well, that's all about it. I don't know what else to got. So we're going to catch y'all around the bend. Thank y'all for listening. Next week, we got 2 shows coming for you. Keep out for that. And yeah, we'll catch you later. Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye. Mwah.